Hello there, Salim Omar here, bringing you another episode of the e-commerce Money Map podcast. I am super excited. We have an amazing guest. His name is Zack Leonard. Zack, welcome.
Thank you, Salim. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And I know you're vacationing in Cape Cod. And awesome. Good stuff. Let me quickly share your bio, and then I'll ask you to kind of give us your backstory, and then we'll kind of dive right in.
Perfect.
Zack is the CPO, Chief Product Officer, President, and co-founder of Gemba, where they help Amazon and e-commerce sellers design, research, manufacture, and promote products. Zack was on the ground floor of the unicorn company Instacart, helping build the Texas markets from 0 to 7 figures in weekly gross merchandise value. He's got a bachelor's degree in business administration from Texas McCombs School of Business, lives with his wife, daughter, and 2 dogs in Austin, Texas. Zack, welcome. And perhaps let's start off with your backstory, a kind of a high level of what have been some high points in your career. What brings you to date where we are?
Sure. Thanks, Salim. I appreciate it. Yeah. So started my career after school going into consulting and worked at a company called KPMG, helping banks assess their credit risk operations. From there, moved on to Instacart. I had an itch to get into the startup world, and I got lucky. I was one of the first, few employees at Instacart, and saw it go from, Series A to unicorn status in the span of the couple of years that I was there. So saw a lot of crazy things happen along that growth curve. Helped, foster relationships with Costco and Whole Foods and HEB down in Texas, and grew the markets, like you said, from, 0 to 7 figures in GMV on a weekly basis. So pretty exponential and crazy growth there. Went into work for another delivery startup in Austin. And then, I got the itch to do my own thing. I was down in the last mile of logistics and supply chain, and always thought that there was more value to be had higher up in the supply chain. And what I found was that, my why and my purpose of helping others really resonated with the small to mid-sized businesses who needed a lot of help and didn't necessarily have the resources or know how to do what we do at Gemba, which is help them create products or find manufacturers overseas or give them expertise along that entire ecosystem. So that's kind of how the genesis of Gemba started. I have 2 other co-founders that, we kind of worked, typical startup way where, meeting once a month, and it turned into once every couple of weeks, then once a week, then daily. And we're just kind of like, all right, what are we doing here? And started to get customers on and prove out product market fit, and learn a ton along the way. And now Gemba has, helped bring over 1,000 products to the market.
Wow.
And along the entire, some are created by us, some are, manufactured by our partners overseas in, Vietnam or China or India or Mexico. It's been a crazy ride to get to where we are today.
Wow. That's amazing. How long has it been since you started Gemba?
Yeah. So officially it's like almost a 5-year anniversary to the day.
Wow.
We started officially 5 years ago, and then 4 years ago, I jumped and joined full time myself, and I actually got our first big order on my wife and I's honeymoon. So I was up late taking in the order, pure entrepreneur startup grind, and I'll never forget that, obviously. But it was a fun way to dive into the business.
Yeah, that's amazing. And your story kind of, I'm sure, resonates with a lot of listeners. It resonates with me. That we were in corporate America, KPMG or whatever outfit it was, or whatever corporation we worked in, and we said, I want to do my own thing. I want to be an entrepreneur, and we start our business. And so you've been at it for 5 years, and that's congrats, man.
Thank you.
An achievement.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of the things that you believe in from looking at your materials is that, being a purpose-driven business. And what I've noticed working with businesses, Zack, for the last 26 years, in my own business, working with small businesses across different industries, is they start with a purpose and they start with a vision, but they lose that purpose and that vision somewhere along their journey. And many times it's within those first 5 years. What has it been like for you and your partner? You said you're a co-founder of Gemba, or your leadership team. What's been it like for you guys to kind of keep your purpose and your vision in front of you all the time?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've done a great job of bringing in a management team that is purpose and value driven. I think the name of our company, Gemba, which quite literally in the Japanese Kaizen manufacturing theory is meaning the place where value is created. And so that's part of our purpose, is that we always want to bring value to our customers, whether it's bottom line value, whether it's some research to give them insights, whether it's helping them solve complex problems with the product, right? So that's really one of the main things that we strive for. One of our core values that we've come up with is called "Be the Gemba," which is be the value, and we that's a lot of what we preach company wide to make sure everyone stays focused on our mission and our vision and what we really want to do here.
Yeah. My company's name is eSenshi. We provide accounting services, CFO services, tax services, and so forth to e-commerce businesses. And eSenshi is a Japanese term. Why is it that we go to Japanese terms when we're looking to create to find a name for our business?
I find the Japanese culture very fascinating, and I actually took a trip over there a few years ago for the first time, and I was just blown away by how nice they were to everybody, how great the ecosystem was, and they have obviously a deep rooted culture with all the dynasties and everything that's gone on there. And I think it just kind of you can feel that when you go and visit there. So I don't know. It's definitely something a lot of people strive to do, and I think a lot of the efficiencies that they brought to the world, especially on the manufacturing floor with Kaizen manufacturing theory, I think that's part of why we've adopted the name Gemba.
Nice. Yeah, I love the name Gemba.
Thank you.
It just rolls out.
Yeah.
And it's quite a process to find the right name for a business. And I know we went through so many iterations when we were looking for a name for our e-commerce business, and we ultimately settled with eSenshi. But there were days and days and days, and you're thinking like of all different types of names, and every day it becomes about names. You look at the sky and you're looking at the earth or the ocean, and you're like, all right, is there a word that I can an inspiration I can get from this moment that's going to be the name of my business?
Yeah It's one of those creative mind way of thinking, and not everyone has that, but it's fun to come up with some names. There's some names that I remember we put on the board and they're just like, yeah, that's not going to work. Right. So, 5 years in business, maybe you share with us one or two challenges that you faced, and how did you address those challenges? Yeah, I mean, I think the most obvious one that, any business that's been around for the last few years is COVID. We had to rapidly adapt. I mean, we like to think that we didn't necessarily start remote work, but we definitely fostered it from the get-go, because we had a team in China, and in different parts of China when we launched, because our theory was that we wanted to have local support for small and mid-sized businesses in the countries that they're doing manufacturing. But when COVID started, China shut down, and then the US shut down, right? And so we had to move pretty quickly. And also from a marketing standpoint, like we were still, very early in our funding journey, and we had done a lot more of guerrilla marketing, like podcasts, or go to small events and not spend a ton of money. So we had to adopt a digital marketing strategy. And it actually, COVID was obviously terrible for the world, but it actually helped Gemba grow pretty exponentially during that time, as you saw the e-commerce boom. And then I think now with the current challenge is more on the, e-commerce headwinds that they're facing, the slowdown in the economy, and we're kind of dealing with that in real time as well. So I think those two, it's like kind of seeing the seesaw go one way or another. I think, cool and calm heads, will prevail in these kind of uncharted waters where you're seeing seesaw and crazy, spikes in supply chain costs, and then crashes in supply chain costs, and the economy going whatever way. So like I said, I think it's the fact that we're still here and doing well, and it's a testament to the team that we've created and fostered and grown over the course of the last 5 years. And we've always had that really be human aspect of it, since our company is multicultural and all over the world. We celebrate the humanity of what it means to bring products to life.
You mentioned something about cool heads. Can you repeat that sentence? Cool heads prevail, or something of that sort?
Yeah, just right now, when there's a lot of craziness that's out there in the world, I think the ability to stay cool and calm and collected will keep an even keel. That's kind of
right
how we like to approach this, not overreact, or news is news, and things are happening all over. You got to tune out the noise and make sure that you can stay calm and focused on the as we move forward.
And so it's really deciphering, Zach, what's relevant and what's not relevant, right? So not getting overwhelmed with the stuff that's not relevant, but then having that cool, calm, and collected mindset that to stay focused on what is relevant.
Right.
And so kind of, and really having a culture that is all on the same page and very focused. And I think, and so right, that is what prevails, because businesses are going to go through different seasons. Right. It is cyclical, there are external factors and so forth, COVID being one major one. And, and as a business, that is what prevails. And really, I saw many businesses that were struggling during COVID, but they came out stronger after COVID. And it's because of that mindset. And I really feel that mindset plays such a huge role, mindset, and then building a team and a culture that helps us prevail through the downs, right?
Absolutely. We actually just had a company offsite last week, and I think it, came in a really great time when, the news and everything out there is starting to, turn towards, are we going through recession, whatever. But when you bring people together, I think you really feel that culture. And, last week we had, 40 people in town, and we were, the collaboration and the teamwork that was going on to try and, come up with new ideas and implement them as soon as possible to help us grow and, catapult to the next level. I agree with you. Like, that kind of stuff is priceless in terms of the ROI that you get from bringing those types of events together and bringing the people together to really feel what that culture is all about.
Yeah. I want to shift gears a bit and talk about, how do you help your clients through the innovation process?
Absolutely. So the cool thing about our company is that, like I said, our goal is to match our customers with the expertise along the entire product development cycle. So they can come into us with a brand new idea, or they can come to us with, trying to revamp their existing product line, or if they want to go out and add complementary SKUs to their existing product line. But it really starts with research and development, right? Like, you think about the biggest companies in the world that do this from a product standpoint. It's car companies and Apple and stuff. Like, they come out with new products every single year because the world expects them to do that. Small to mid-sized businesses can't afford that. They can't afford to be in R&D every year and have a 3-year development cycle and test out new things, right? They have to get things out in the market and then let their customers be their feedback. And hopefully they can make it to a second product or second iteration of their product. So what we do in the research and development side of it is we help match them with that expertise. So let's say they're trying to make some shoes. We have a stable of people who've worked at Nike and Under Armour on shoes that we match them up with to help them get past that hump of, like, it's in my mind, or I'm trying to come up with a new idea, and find out if that idea is actually feasible. Like, is this something that can be done? Anything can really be created, but can it be created for a price and a value that customers will buy it at, that gives you a margin, right? Like, that's the name of the game in product business. And then the other part of it is, can it be manufactured? And so earlier on in the process, then, if you were to go to a design agency or a design shop, or work just solely with a designer, we embed the manufacturer who could be working on your project early on in the process. We call that design for manufacturing. And what they do is they'll start to tell you what can and can't be possible for a manufacturing process as well. So you're getting the experts who have worked on products similar to what you've been doing. You're matched up with the factories that can actually make it. And then you have a big collaboration on our platform where it brings all those players together to start talking and iterating on your product so that you have the best shot possible of getting that product out into the market in a successful manner.
That's awesome. I'm curious to know, what are like budget and time constraints when adopting technology for innovation purposes?
Yeah, I think it all depends on how fast the company wants to move, right? So the easiest way to get something out in the market is to take something that exists and make some slight changes to it. For a manufacturing process, the machines and the capabilities have already been created for the most part. And so if you can make slight tweaks to something that's already been created, the time and budget is much lower than if you're doing something that's completely new, right? If you're bringing some new technology to the world, you're talking about a long testing cycle. You're talking about probably want to get patents around that because it has been created, and patent process can take, a year or two, depending on if it's utility or design patent. So yeah, I mean, from a budget and time perspective, it's really, really dependent on how in depth and how fast the company wants to move and how much of it is, completely new to the world versus how much is something that's already been created that you're just making some slight and subtle tweaks to.
Yeah. And the platform that you guys have created at Gemba, the innovation platform, what does that do for an e-commerce business?
Yeah, so I think there's a few things it does. One, it obviously matches the expertise to the product, so into the client. So whoever, if I have, like I said before, like if you're a shoe company and you want to work with some of the best in the world, you can do that through our platform, both from a design perspective, an engineering perspective, as well as a manufacturing perspective. And I think, again, as far as the timing goes, it'll shorten the time down because you're working with people who've done it before versus trying to go do it yourself. And you're getting that expertise right at the click of a button once you come to our website. And I think also, for people who haven't done it before, it's going to save you a ton of cost. Opportunity cost of getting the product launched because it takes longer doing it yourself just naturally. And then also from a cost perspective, because the buying power that our team has in the factories, we're able to get, potentially better costs than you would be able to do on your own, since this is your only product versus our company who's launched, thousands of products, like I mentioned before. So I think that's the ability, from a scale perspective, we help get you to scale faster. We help you get your products launched faster. We help get the answers faster in terms of, is it feasible or not?
Got it. Yeah, this is so good. Thank you for being so generous with all the insights you're sharing about, the space here. What are one or two pieces of advice, Zack, that you'd give to an e-commerce business that's kind of things that you often see being overlooked or they're not being considered as much as they should?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And I think one thing that I always preach to any, customer, random person, whoever who's trying to create a product is really treat your manufacturing partner as they should be treated, which is probably, in my opinion, the second most valuable person on your team. I feel that your customers are obviously the most valuable people on your team because they're telling you the feedback. They're the ones who love your customer, who love your product. They're going to give you feedback on, how to make changes, things that they like, things that they don't like. So you can really take that and make your second iteration or add more products to your catalog. But what people often overlook is the relationship that they have with their factories. They're human, they're a business, they're trying to help you win as well. And so if you value them like that and you value them as a part of your team and you treat them with respect, and, on Chinese New Year or the holidays, you reach out to them and send them gifts, or you treat them like, you would as any other member of your team. I think you're going to see a much more fruitful, much more respectful, and much more long-lasting business relationship. And I think people in today's setting don't understand that, especially in the days of, COVID, where you can't actually go visit your factory. It becomes a lot more challenging to have that human interaction, that human experience of really going and building a relationship with your factory. So, I think from my perspective, spend more time, really being human with your factory partner.
Yeah. You can never go wrong being human, right?
Right.
With everyone, with our neighbor, with our
Right.
people that we meet in a supermarket and so forth. And really, I mean, we talked about culture earlier on, right? Culture prevails when you've got an amazing team, in-house. And we think sometimes of culture as employees. And what you're sharing here, I feel, is extending that concept to really having our, the manufacturing partners as part of our culture.
Right.
And doing things we would do for our employees and, extending it to them as well and building that relationship where they're going to go above and beyond when you want them to go above and beyond.
Exactly. I think, our company being, worldwide, one of our core values is smash the barriers, and it's also do the right thing. Those are two of our core values. And I think smash the barriers really comes from, whatever news or whatever, preconceived notion you have of whatever culture that you're doing business with, like that doesn't matter anymore. You need to be able to reach across the pond and shake hands and like be able to get past any, prejudice or whatever it is that you have of that. And then do the right thing. All same thing. Like you just, at the end of the day, if you're doing the right thing, you're going to feel good about what you're doing. And you'll know that deep down, regardless of the decision that you make, if it's guided by doing the right thing, then you're going to feel good about it.
Super good. Awesome. Great. This is, man, I'm looking at the clock and we've got like a minute left here. And I want to kind of wrap up. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and ask you about a thing I usually don't ask people about. Is there a particular book that you read or podcast you listened to other than mine that really helped you in your career?
Yeah. A book that I will always prescribe to anyone, regardless if you're in business or not, is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think it's one that you can constantly go back to and just keep reading and learn and really go deep and understand what it is to have a high motor. And so a lot of, the things that I like to do or things that I think about, is, obviously being proactive and beginning with the end in mind. Like those are the first 2 habits that he has in that book. And to me, it's, if you're proactive versus reactive, if you're always like, what's your end goal? And then figure out what that is, and then start at the beginning and figure out how you map your way to that end goal, especially in the product world. That'll help you, I think, be a guiding light and a guiding principle for you to be successful, whatever you do in life. Yeah.
And that is a phenomenal book. It's one of my all-time favorites. And Dr. Stephen Covey, the author, he just created some amazing work with that book. It's like, it's going to be around for, I think, years and years and centuries and so forth, because that stuff is so timeless as the 7 principles. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Right.
Just like the whole 7 principles, each one, I use it every day, like in my weekly meetings and my daily huddles.
Right.
Those principles are coming in, and whenever we come back to those principles, we feel we work just in a better way with our clients, with our team members and so forth. So thank you for sharing that and reminding myself and the audience about, how great this book is, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yep. It's a great one. Highly recommend it.
Zack, what's the best way for people to find you? Best way for someone to reach out to you?
Yeah. If you want to get in touch with our business, feel free to go to www.gembah.com. That's GEMBAH.com. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me a note saying you heard about it on the podcast, and I'm happy to chat with you and see if there's anything I can be helpful with.
That's awesome. Great, man. Thank you so much. This was so insightful, so much wisdom that you shared with us. Really appreciate it. We'll have in the show notes, everything, the links that you've shared with us, the resources. So we'll do that. Thanks, man. Appreciate you and enjoy your vacation in Cape Cod.
Thanks, Salim. It was great to be here, and appreciate you as well. And have a great rest of your day.